Hello, everyone. This is your online orientation to the Ramona Humane Society. If you have not already done so, you can download a copy of our volunteer orientation manual, which you see a picture of here on your screen. We're going to get started now on all you'll need to know to become a volunteer here with our Ramona Humane Society. So, first of all, we wanted to start by thanking you for choosing to be a volunteer at the Ramona Humane Society. The board, the staff, and even the animals are really grateful for you and your service and your support. Now, we do understand that you have a choice of where you want to volunteer your services, and for you to choose Ramona Humane Society really humbles us. I know that it was a difficult one for you to decide where you want to volunteer your time. Not only are there, so many other things competing for your time and your attention, but you may have also heard myths or even believe that animal shelters are really sad places to be. While there may certainly be difficult things to see at an animal shelter, there is also an immense amount of happiness and gratefulness. So I'm glad that you've chosen Ramona Humane Society to give your time. There are really few things as heartwarming as seeing a stray dog or a stray animal licking the face of a volunteer who has chosen to share time with them, to help them, or even to see a cat purring in the arms of an attendant who is offering comfort. Volunteers are critical to our success here at Ramona Humane Society, and they support every aspect of our organization, from engaging with our community to providing compassion and care to all the shelter animals. So as you begin your adventure here with Ramona Humane Society's volunteer team, we really want to take a moment to offer you some important information. These rules and these guidelines and some policies will get you ready to have one of the most fulfilling and fun volunteer experiences you can have. Now, it's important for all of our volunteers to know what our mission is. A mission really guides our organization on who we are, what we want to be, and how we place ourselves in the community. The mission of the Ramona Humane Society is dedicated to fostering the humane treatment of all animals. Our goal is to eliminate animal overpopulation by offering low-cost spay and neutering and even public outreach programs and promoting the adoption of pets to loving homes. In partnership with our community and our donors, we provide efficient services and programs to offer animals every opportunity to be treated with kindness and respect. Now, we are often asked here at the Ramona Humane Society, are you a no-kill shelter? Well, since there is really no national standard definition of what a no-kill shelter is, we instead define our shelter as an open admission shelter. Now, what this means is we provide safety and shelter to any animal, regardless of its condition or its behavior. California state law requires us to hold these animals for a minimum of 4 to 6 days. Our mission is to save each animal, so it is not common that the Ramona Humane Society must euthanize an animal. However, it is important for your volunteer services to know and for you to understand that under some few circumstances, we must do the inevitable of euthanizing an animal. Maybe the animal has been hit by a car and is beyond saving, or maybe the animal is sick and will not get better, or maybe the animal has horrific behavioral problems that cannot be treated. If we must do so, we do euthanize an animal humanely. That said, the Ramona Humane Society has a no time limit for our animals in the shelter. What that means is any adoptable animal who we believe we can find a home for will stay at the shelter until we find that animal a home. Now, here is some general information about the Ramona Humane Society: our address, our email, our website, even our Facebook page. We also provide you here with our front desk phone number and, again, the email to the volunteer services so that you can contact the volunteer offices directly. Now, volunteer investment. We here at Ramona Humane Society invest a good deal of time and expense into ensuring that our volunteers are well trained and well supported. Therefore, we ask that our potential volunteers invest in us as well. Therefore, we require that each potential volunteer commit to working at least 4 hours each month. Additionally, we ask our volunteers to invest $10 into our volunteer program. The benefits of that come with a t-shirt, a volunteer services t-shirt. You'll receive opportunities to meet other animal lovers. You'll have the chance to make a real difference to the lives of animals in our community. You'll have opportunities to volunteer at events and fundraisers, and you'll receive the unconditional love of the dogs and the cats and other animals here at Ramona Humane Society. Now, before you can volunteer, there are a few things we need for you to know. You must understand and accept the Ramona Humane Society's mission, vision, and values, which we showed you earlier. We ask that you communicate kindly, courteously, and professionally. We ask that you read, comprehend, and follow detailed policies and procedures and protocols, of which you'll be learning a little bit more about later. We ask that you have no felony or record of cruelty, abuse, or neglect of animals or children. You must be at least 16 years of age or older to volunteer with the animals. Remember, if you are 16 to 18, you must also get parental consent to volunteer at our PetSmart Adoption Center. There may be other ways if you are under the age of 18 for you to help Ramona Humane Society. Please email our volunteer department and we can provide you with more information on how you can help if you are under the age of 16. We ask that you listen to or have attended a mandatory volunteer orientation program, which you are doing right now. We also ask that you complete a volunteer application and contact information form that is available on the volunteer page. We ask that you commit, as we said, to a minimum of at least 4 hours of service monthly. And we ask that you pay the $10 investment into our volunteer program. Now, you as a volunteer will also have rights and responsibilities. You have the right to feel safe at our facility. You have the right to information about your volunteer role and what your role is in our organization, what projects you are completing, and what other opportunities in volunteering might be available to you. You have the right to ask questions of the appropriate people here at our Ramona Humane Society, the right to feel valued, to negotiate your volunteer role, and the right to leave if you are not happy. Now, with those rights come your responsibilities. You will have the responsibility to communicate your needs, the responsibility to follow through with your obligations, the responsibility to honor the organization's investment in you, and the responsibility to take care of yourselves. There are some volunteer do's and don'ts, and we'd like to discuss some of the volunteer do's first. First of all, we ask that you always clean up after yourself wherever you are working. Now, as you go through your volunteer training at Ramona Humane Society, you'll be given strict procedures on how to clean up after you are done. We also ask that you observe the disinfection procedures, which you will learn more about at your volunteer training. Respect any signs of illness in an animal or any missing animals in a kennel technician or other RHS staff member. What we mean here is you are our eyes when you are out in the kennels or in the cattery. If you see a missing kennel, if you see a sick animal, you should report that immediately to our kennel technician or another Ramona Humane Society staff member right away. Be polite and courteous to members of the public. Remember, we are an open admission shelter and we are open to the public. People will see you in your volunteer t-shirt and ask you questions. We ask that you communicate kindly and courteously and professionally. Use appropriate customer service skills. Demonstrate appropriate animal handling skills, of which you will learn as you go through your training. Speak appropriately about the animals in our facility. We ask that you refer questions from the public to the appropriate person. Become a more informed volunteer. We also ask if you are ever uncertain about something, ask before you do anything. Follow all the instructions that will be given to you by Ramona Humane Society staff members, and follow the appropriate procedure for notifying Ramona Humane Society staff if you will be unable to fulfill your scheduled assignments. So we've heard about the do's. Let's talk about some of the don'ts. Please do not, unless a staff member requests your assistance, do not involve yourself with an owner's request for services, including euthanasia, a turn-in of an animal or a stray, adoptions, or other businesses being handled by staff. We train our staff members quite extensively, so if the public asks you something, refer it to one of the staff members. Now, we ask that you do not ask for special consideration in adopting an animal for yourself, your friends, or your family. Do not remove any animals from the facility without explicit permission from a Ramona Humane Society staff member. Do not let members of the public handle shelter animals or go into kennels unless you are instructed to do so by your Ramona Humane Society staff members. Do not bring in toys or treats without first checking with the staff. Many of our animals are on special diets or may get sick from toys that are dispensed without prior staff approval. Do not bring your own pets into the facility unless it has been pre-approved for a visit by a staff member. You must have an appointment or a training scheduled before you bring in your own animal to our facility. Do not bring children, friends, or other adults with you while you volunteer. And finally, do not use your cell phones while working. If you get a cell phone call while you are volunteering, finish what you are doing and step away from a non-public area, and then you can follow through with your cell call. Unless you've been asked to work as part of a special event or have been otherwise instructed by a volunteer leader here at Ramona Humane Society, volunteers may only work at our facilities during normal business hours, and these are currently 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. On Friday and Sunday, we are open from 8 a.m. and close at 3:30. We ask that you arrive on time to your volunteer duty. If you're not going to be able to make a scheduled shift, please call 951-654-8002 or email your volunteer coordinator at the address in the volunteer orientation booklet. Remember, parking at our facility is free. However, during busy hours, it may become quite difficult for you to find a parking space. So give yourself time to park your car. If you take public transit to Ramona Humane Society, the Riverside Transit Route 31 stops at State Street and 7th Street, which is a short 5-minute walk from our facility. And what to wear? Well, as you might guess, working around animals is not the cleanest activity. Therefore, you should dress to ensure that you are both comfortable and safe. Unless otherwise instructed by your volunteer supervisor, you should wear sturdy, closed-toe shoes, slip-resistant shoes, and please, no flip-flops or sandals. Wear your volunteer t-shirt that you paid $10 for as your volunteer investment. Please, no tank tops. Long pants, no shorts or short skirts or dresses, please, unless you are working at the front desk. No hanging jewelry. And you will receive a volunteer ID badge to be worn at all times. Now, you're obviously a very wonderful person. After all, you're willing to give your time and energy to Ramona Humane Society to help our animals. However, to ensure that we start off on the right path, let's look at some of the things which will likely result in immediate grounds to ask you to leave our facility. Your volunteer training will go into greater detail to some of the specific policies referred to below, but do not smoke in any area of the facility or in areas accessible to the public. Do not possess or be under the influence of illegal drugs or alcohol, or be in the possession of weapons or firearms while on Ramona Humane Society property. Do not commit any act of violence or harassment against another volunteer, staff, donor, or member of the public, including online harassment. No fighting, horseplay, wrestling, dangerous practical joking, or throwing of objects. Do not steal, damage, or destroy Ramona Humane Society property. Do not borrow Ramona Humane Society property without first getting prior authorization from a Ramona Humane Society staff member. Do not use abusive language at any time while on the Ramona Humane Society's premises. Do not ignore volunteer policies and procedures. Do not share confidential information. Do not speak with the media on the behalf of a Ramona Humane Society without first obtaining permission. And do not speak or coordinate with rescue or other transfer partners about an animal without first getting staff approval. Now, your safety and your comfort is of utmost importance to us, and it's important that we keep everyone in our facility at Ramona Humane Society safe. If you observe any conditions at the shelter that appear unsafe, report this to the Ramona Humane Society staff immediately. These include such things as slipping or tripping hazards, water on the floor, inadequate lighting, frayed electrical cords, etc. Please note that Ramona Humane Society does not accept liability for or pay any medical expenses related to any injury or illness that a volunteer may experience as a result of volunteering for us. If a volunteer experiences an injury or illness that warrants a visit to the personal physician, urgent care, or emergency room, you must first have your own health insurance and be responsible for any costs associated with those visits. One of the things that you will be asked to do before volunteering is sign a waiver form, so it is important for you to understand this concept. Now, all accidents, including those involving an animal or member of the public, should be reported immediately to a Ramona Humane Society staff member. Whether or not it requires medical attention, you must still report it. If you are bitten or scratched by a dog or cat or other animal while at the Ramona Humane Society, and that bite or scratch breaks the skin, please report this to the Ramona Humane Society staff immediately. Remember, and I reiterate this again, you must report any bite or scratch if it has broken the skin. It is important that the event be fully described to a staff member so that they can record it in our files. The information really helps staff understand what happened and how best to ensure the continued safety of that animal and for those who may want to adopt that animal. Now remember, Ramona Humane Society must also maintain this information for liability purposes. Okay, so now that you've listened to this online orientation, now what? Well, hopefully you'll take an opportunity to visit our shelter and take a tour. And if you're still interested in volunteering, then we encourage you to fill out the application and the other disclosures and forms, specifically if you're between the ages of 16 and 18, the parental consent form. And remember, you can also look at the jobs that we have available and what they entail and how you might fit your skills and interests into helping us with one of those volunteer activities. We also ask that you provide us with your volunteer availability on the application. We will also schedule you to work directly with dogs and cats and staff members from the time that you enter our building to the time that you leave. We believe that a key to successful training is to provide you, our volunteer, with hands-on experience. We do understand that your time is valuable, so in order to maximize your time at the shelter, we ask that you be patient after submitting your application while we take the time to work with your availability and your interest in matching you up with a Ramona Humane Society staff member who will be able to train you. And we want to thank you once again for your interest in helping us. We really are looking forward to seeing you at the facility. If you have any questions, please let us know so that we can help. Thank you, and bye-bye.